And we are live. It's Monday and it's 5 o'clock. Yes, you are absolutely right, Denise. I love that. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, good middle of the night, wherever you are around the world. Please, please, please do let me know in the chat box wherever you are. Like the time of day it is, like let me know where you are around the world so that we can obviously get connected. It is absolutely incredible. It is another Monday and I am back with you guys live at 5 p.m. I have to give a big shout out to Deborah on YouTube. She is always the first person on and I am just completely blown away. The fact that she's always here first, and it's Deborah Hewitt. So I just have to give her a big shout out. She's absolutely amazing. Without fail, she's there. Before I even get here, she's like, hi, I'm here. So it's absolutely amazing. So it's absolutely great to have you on, Deborah. Thank you so much for joining us. Martin, it's good to have you on, my friend. I have got your email, by the way, and I just haven't had any time since Tuesday. I'm going to talk a little bit about Tuesday. Really good to have you on, my friend. Joy, Denise, Charlotte, Layla, Pina, and the list goes on. It's popping off on YouTube, ladies and gents. For some bizarre reason, it always takes a little bit for face ache. Did I say face ache? For Facebook to catch up. So it's just one of those things, ladies and gents. It's probably because I don't do enough on Facebook anymore that they've got a little bit grumpy with me. But you know what? I don't care. I just don't care. So it has been a wild, wild week. Let me know in the chat how your week has been. We're going to be talking about a few different things tonight. First and foremost, and a priority, I think, we need a good old gossip, don't we, ladies and gents? We need to have a good old catch up and align ourselves with a few things before I go into the kind of heavy topic of projection. So I know a lot of people go, thank you for talking about difficult subjects, but by the way, I'm assuming you guys can hear me okay, because I haven't got my headpiece on and I probably should have thought about that, but I didn't. So can you just let me know? I think it's quite quiet where I am, so I think I should be okay. But do let me know if you can hear me okay and if the sound quality is okay and all the rest of it. That would be really useful. So okay, so thank you, Julia. I appreciate you, my darling. Thank you, Deborah. So there's been a little bit of up and downs from what I'm reading in the chat box. Some of you in the last week came along to one of my events, which was pretty bloody powerful, to say the least. And I'm going to be talking a little bit about that in a moment. So for me personally, I've got a couple of proposals that I'm going to make. So some of you from way back when, those of you that have followed me for some time, I used to do a thing called Sunday service back in the day. Some of you guys will remember. I'm thinking about bringing it back. I'm thinking about changing this Monday Night Live to a Sunday service. And basically what that is it's like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock on a Sunday morning. We get together and we have beautiful, powerful conversations, and it just kind of like picks us up and realigns our soul. And I'm just thinking it might be nice to do that, to set yourself up amazingly for a Sunday rather than doing it at this time on a Monday, because I can't do any later on a Monday because my diary is back to back. So actually, I feel it could be quite a good idea. Obviously, it won't be very good for those of you in the US because 9, 10 o'clock in the morning, unless you're out partying, which I know some of you do, you'll be able to catch it then. But I was just thinking like how I can make this a little bit different. Yes, essentially, it was like Lucy is the priest. But it's a very, very, very conscious thing that takes place. The only other thing I could maybe do is move it to a Sunday evening. Maybe I could move it to a Sunday evening. So we could do like Sunday, whatever, Sunday service, but a Sunday evening service. But I'll just figure it out. I'll figure it out because, I do have to cater like the Aussies and the New Zealand don't get to enjoy these at the moment. So I kind of need to either move it back one way or whatever. And I'm still going to be doing the wellness ones, and I think I'm going to be doing that on a Wednesday wellness, Wednesday well-being, that kind of, I like a cheeky little ring to it. Hi Cliff, how are you? I hope you're well. Yes, I remember you being on my Sunday service. They were quite powerful actually. I just used to come along and just talk exactly like I do now, but we just called it Sunday service, and we just had a good old catch up and a good old gossip, for want of better words, really, in reality. So it's very important that we're shifting things up and we're realigning. So I'm going to just sit with it and I'll see how that goes. But it might just be that I change the days up. I mean, you can always watch them on record anyway. I just feel as if this video either needs to be later on in the day, and on a Monday I'm back to back till 10. So that doesn't work for me to do it later on a Monday, or I can change the day up. Or I can just leave it where it is. I can just leave things alone, couldn't I? I mean, if it's not broken, don't fix it. But I was just thinking about how we can shake things up. Anyway, yeah, Sunday evening could work, because at least then the Aussies and my beautiful New Zealanders will be up and awake and with us. Obviously, the UK will be aligned, because that's the time zone that I'm predominantly on, or it's certainly the time zone that I align to. And obviously, our American people, it'll be the middle of your afternoon or something. So leave it with me. I will have a little investigation on that and see how I feel. Like it was only a couple of hours ago that came up. So, I'm just sharing it with you as it's happening, as we go along right now. So I wanted to bring you up. Thank you so much for your support. I really, really, really do appreciate that. I wanted to bring you up to speed with a few things that have been going on in the last week. So for those of you that don't know, I have been announced as a radio show host. I am going to be having a weekly radio slot. I am so freaking excited. This is one of the huge opportunities that have presented itself over the last few weeks, the last month or so. And I am super, super, super excited for this. Now, last Tuesday, I don't even know what date it was last Tuesday, but on last Tuesday, I was in the UK doing a whole heap of promotional stuff for the radio show. So do keep your eyes open. I'm going to share everything on here. I'm so chuffed. I actually, in 2021, I actually set an intention that I was going to be able to create a radio show, which is very conscious, and the message wouldn't be censored. And here I am. Okay, it's not mine, but I've been offered a weekly slot on a radio show where they're like, you talk about whatever you want. It's not going to get censored. It's not going to get taken down. You just do you. And I'm like, thank you, thank you, thank you. Because as people are saying on YouTube, the message is exactly the same. It doesn't matter which platform I'm on. The message is the same. It's just we get to reach. We get to reach different people by different mediums. So me being on a radio show, I'm super excited by it. And also it means I don't need to rock up looking pretty. I can just rock up in my comfies and just sit there and chat. I know I'm going to be being filmed, so I'm only joking and I jest when I say that. But it means I get to play my music, ladies and gents. I am a massive, massive, massive fan of music. And actually today I was thinking about it, and in the way that art decorates a room, music decorates your soul. It decorates a memory, doesn't it? It really, really holds us in a memory and a position in time. And that is what I am going to bring to you on the radio show. So I'm really bloody excited about it. So after that excitement on Tuesday, we did a pretty powerful healing hangs. And when I say we, two very dear healers that are very, very close to me joined me on it. And blimey, was it powerful. Like I was rocking for the next 24, 36 hours, let alone everybody else. The feedback has been absolutely phenomenal. And there's been some really, really amazing results. Oh, thank you, Cliff. I appreciate that. There's been some amazing results off the back of the healing hangs. And I just wanted to share with you that next month in October, in a few days, can't believe it's October in a minute, we are going to be looking at creation of abundance. So it's going to be letting go of the lack or that you hold within, you know, being able to create abundance, whatever that looks like for you. So that's what we're going to be looking at in October. I've kind of tentatively picked a date. I just need to check that it does actually work with my diary, because I'm a bit of a bugger for doing that. I say that I'll do something and I'm like, shit, no, I need to be there at that time. So yeah, that was amazing last week. And then if that wasn't enough, on Friday, I was somewhere very special, somewhere very, very dear to my heart, and somewhere where I used to live, interestingly enough. Might be a little clue in there, and it wasn't Bournemouth, by the way. I went and did some very, very powerful energy work. There's basically part of what I've been doing is I've been pulling the hearts back together. So there was lots of fragments all over the world, and I've been pulling it back together. And what I did on Friday was essentially rebooting that. And oh my God, did the Schumann resonance go off straight off the back of it. So that was Friday just gone. I shared in some of my groups the fact that the Schumann resonance went on. There was parallel timelines running. There was all sorts of different bits and pieces like that. Love that, Gina, 1111, where she is. Absolutely love that. And there was all these amazing shifts that were taking place, and I was whacked, I'll be honest with you. By the time I'd finished it, I was like, oh my goodness, I'm absolutely shattered. And then I went on and did some more work on the 23rd, but I'm going to save that because, you know, some things don't need to be spoken about publicly, so I'm just going to keep that one. Then on Saturday, I had the amazing experience of meeting a couple of ladies who follow me on Instagram, and it was absolutely amazing. Just an opportunity presented itself. We were all in the same place, and so I managed to grab a bit of breakfast with them, which was really, really lovely. And I love it. I don't do enough of it, ladies and gents. And when I am back next time in the UK, I'm going to be setting up some meetups, not doing seminars or anything like that, but just sitting down, having brunch with people or breakfast or whatever, and just literally have an hour or whatever where we can just chat and eat and just do all of my favorite things. So do keep your eyes peeled for that. Predominantly that stuff is shared on Instagram, because I'm on Instagram a lot more than I am Facebook. I still haven't gotten over them deleting my account in 2020. I know I need to move on and stop projecting my crap. Exactly what this video is about today. I've got to stop projecting, but just naturally I am much more on Instagram. So if you're not on my Instagram channel, please do go and follow me over there. It's Lucy Davis 2222. No surprise, because that is just me. So those of you that follow me on Instagram, you will know that I have left the UK once more. I am actually, believe it or not, despite me doing these videos and obviously having to do my meetings and clients and things like that, I have 2 weeks of rest now. I'm going to be focusing on self-love, I'm going to be focusing on love, and I'm going to be focusing on writing my next book. Yay! I hear you all say, you're all chomping at the bit for that one, aren't you? So that's where my focuses are going to be, you know, over the coming few weeks. So the last thing I'm going to talk about is, before I go into the actual topic of today, and sorry for going off on one, but I'm trying to clear off as many questions that I get asked, because I don't actually get time to respond to too many questions these days, because I'm just so busy. My assistant unfortunately had to be off today for a family thing, so I just won't be able to come back to anybody, you know, and I was hoping to use a bit of this period of time to catch up, but it's just not happening right now. So a lot of people have been asking me what I do. Now, this is people that I know, that I love. This is brand new people that I've met through the radio station and things like that. And so I just thought I would give you a little bit of insight, okay? A little bit of insight. I'm not going to take up too much more of this time, but the first thing, there's many things that I do, but when people ask me what I do for a living, I always say I hold space for people to heal dis-ease in their bodies holistically. Now, that might be the dis-ease of having the little voice in your head that tells you that you're not good enough. It may be physical dis-ease in the body, i.e., you know, illness, sickness, disease, as you would know it. And the way that I do this is through one-to-one sessions, groups, courses. I've got an amazing program called Self-Love Club, absolutely amazing. And I love that, Martin. What don't you do? Yeah, right. Let's talk about, it's probably easier for me to talk about what I don't do more than what I do. I'm glad you've got my back, my friend. Thank you so much. I just appreciate the fact that you guys get it. I love it so much. So that's one of the things I do. The second thing that I do, or at least what I own up to doing, is I basically travel the world. I realign and activate energies based on callings that I receive. And when I talk about a calling, like literally I will wake up and I will get a message, or what I call a message, a download, an insight, whatever you guys want to, whatever resonates with you. And it might be, you know, you've got to go to Brazil. And I have actually had this one happen. And then Brazil appears 3 times during the day, and then more information starts to come in. And then before I know it, I'm on a plane heading in the direction of Brazil. And then I end up doing some absolutely catastrophic work in a location where I never, ever thought I would go, but I end up doing it. So, you know, if you haven't read my book From Head to Heart, it's a great place to catch up on some of the past and how I've been able to explore that and do that. So this is why when I say I'm taking some R&R time, like I have to do this because I'm constantly on the go. So it's just fascinating. The other thing that I'm very, very, very proud that I do is I basically activate the soul and bring it back online. What do I mean by that? I mean, I remind you guys through seminars and other bits and pieces of what your soul got sent down here to do. Now, I have this most amazing seminar that I run, and it's called Soul School. And for those of you on Facebook, you would have seen yesterday, if you're on my Lucy Davis 2222 page, you would have seen the video from last year. So yesterday was Soul School's first year anniversary. Now, Soul School fed through to me back in 2017, 2018, and I was shown a vision whereby I was going to create a physical school whereby the souls would go. Now, I'm not talking a school for kids, although the children would definitely go there and be educated how to work with their soul from the get-go. I'm talking about, you know, any age can go there and have their soul activated. Now, I know a number of the people on YouTube have been to Soul School, so you guys can share your views on YouTube, but it's a pretty amazing seminar. Now, what happens is I don't know what's going to come out of my mouth. I tend to have a few different speakers there. But basically what I do is I just channel. I channel people. I channel what is needed to activate the soul to come back online, to be able to serve humanity in the way that we need it to. Now, that's not serve me, because that's no purpose to absolutely anybody. All I do is I just act as a conduit to bring this information, and it literally brings the soul back online. It can help you shift trauma. It can help you recognize, like I had one lady come, going off on a bit of a tangent here, but I had one lady come in Manchester in February, and she was checked out of her marriage. Literally, when she arrived, she was checked out of her marriage. She went home based on what I had done and the shifts that I had created and the meditations and everything that I put people through. And I really do put you through a lot. I do put you through a lot when you come to Soul School. Like, I'm not here to mess about. I'm here to help you shift. I'm here to help you elevate. I'm here to help you get connected to being you, your most raw, authentic version of yourself, whatever that looks like. And she went home and she messaged me about 5 days later, and she said to me, Lucy, when I came, my relationship was done. And now we've sat down, we've spoken, and I feel so connected back. And for me, it just fires my heart up and it keeps me going. I read the testimonials, I read the insights into what people have shared after coming to these seminars. And ladies and gents, there are times when I really do not want to go and do these seminars because I've got personal stuff going on. You know, the last one that I did in Manchester, you know, my partner at the time, his mum had just died, like literally just before. So of course my heart was there. But I knew that this was a must. It had to be done. And it was massive. And this is the way that the darker energies work. They do kind of corrupt things when you're so on a path of achieving. There are certain things that come in to test you, to test your, to see whether you really want it. And, you know, like I say, Soul School was given to me so many years ago now, and I didn't know the how. I didn't know the how of how I was going to create it. I still don't know the how of how I'm going to physically pay for the physical Soul School, but I know it's going to happen. because the how is irrelevant. And what's interesting is so many people are being presented to me now who are absolutely the future of Soul School. You know, they are absolutely the future, and it's just really quite incredible. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking about that now. Although I'm loving it. I just love speaking about that. Or actually, before I do go on, there is going to be a Soul School in November, a one-day event. I'm just locking down a location and a venue and everything at the moment. But once that's locked in, I will be sharing that with you guys. There is going to be an in-person, and they're both in person, by the way, 2-day event in April. So watch this space, ladies and gents. Now, the last thing that I want to share about this quirky little being that's sat here in front of you today is it's day 1 of my fast. Every year, twice a year, I put myself through a pretty rigorous process to really align my body. And what's taking place here is a lot of people go, why do you do it to yourself, Lucy? Why do you do it? The reason I do it is exactly what I shared a couple of weeks ago or a week ago, whenever it was, when I shared about my healing journey. I realized that I could heal anything, but I had to actually give my body the time to be able to do that. Now, fasting and strict discipline like I have got is what's given me the freedom to be healthy, to be fit, to be strong, to be well. And a lot of people don't connect the dots. They go, oh, that's a bit anal. Why are you doing that? So I'm actually going to be fasting at least for the next week, probably 2 weeks. But I'm just going to see how I go. I'm going to see how I feel. This is the time that I personally am using to really elevate and process all of the emotions that I haven't yet been able to process around the miscarriage that I had back in April. Like, I think it's really, really, really important. Now, although I did a fast pretty soon after that, unfortunately, I've been in fight or flight mode since then for one reason and another. So now is the time, because I feel freaking amazing. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I feel better than I've ever felt in my life. I'm so full of love right now. I feel so connected. I feel so happy. And that's why I'm like, right, this is the time. This is the time for me to stop distracting with food and stop distracting with everything else, and literally just sit and be present and allow all of the emotions and all of the healing to take place. And it's fascinating how many people just cannot get it. Oh, what are you doing that for? Oh, don't be so boring. That's a great one that I hear. Ladies and gents, I healed tumors. Why would I not fast twice a year every year? What have I got to lose by doing that process? So, if you're on my social media, you will be seeing what self-love looks like to me over the course of the next 2 weeks. Because a lot of people are like, that looks like hell, but it's not. It's absolute self-love for me. And I've been doing this since 2015. And as you guys know, I had the biggest shift of my life in 2018, where I passed the tumors. And now it's time to just bring the energies back in and allow this little vessel to take the power back and come back all guns blazing in a couple of weeks, so that I can finish up the energy work for 2023 and go into 2024 with a certainty of love, with a certainty of happiness, with a certainty of health. And that's because I choose that. It's not a priority for everybody, but for me, it is the biggest priority. So from here, ladies and gents, keep your beady little eyes on my social media, because you'll be able to get to see some of what my self-love looks like, even though some of it will probably look quite gross to you. Okay, so yes, exactly. Unconventional is the way forwards, ladies and gents, for sure. Okay, so let me know in the chat box, whichever platform you are on, if you have ever experienced projection. Now, I'm going to explain to you. In fact, no, before we go there, you can start sharing, but I am going to explain what projection is. But I'm going to share a bit of a message that I put on Instagram today, right? Because I was just sharing that I was going to be going live and I wanted to talk about the topic. People will make assumptions on you or your life based on the version of you they hold in their story. the story that serves them to have their needs met, usually by drama, attention, withholding money, or whatever it may be. Something I have learned very recently is that no matter how much you let go, move on, and shine, there will always be a few who project the past. Your moving on irritates their demons. They will create stories so people feel their behavior is okay without bothering to search for facts or ask questions. This is called trauma bonding. People who are addicted to drama are just not willing to be honest with themselves, let alone anybody else. That would mean searching deep into their shadows. These people are not aligned to your frequency. Chances are they never were. Now, that's just part of the message I put out on Instagram today to talk about why I was coming on today and I was going to be speaking about projection, because projection isn't a very sexy topic. It's not particularly friendly, but it's a very, very important topic that we need to bring up into our consciousness so that we know when we're doing it. Now, projection can be good, bad, and ugly. Okay. And genuinely it can. You can project your positivity and you can project all of this stuff. Now, of course, that probably doesn't create too many issues, but it may create comparison or something like that within somebody. But what tends to happen is projection is basically what's going on in your head. So let's say you've got low self-esteem, and let's say, okay, let's put a situation in place. Let's say me and Martin are married. Okay. And Martin has, like Martin and I got married young, we had kids young, and all of a sudden my sister or my sibling is being really, really successful. And Martin's like, wow, God, aren't they doing well? My projection with my insecurity would be, well, you shouldn't have married me. You married the wrong sister, yada, yada, yada. When actually it isn't any of that. And it's certainly not Martin that's creating that. It's me. I am saying that I shouldn't have got married young. I shouldn't have had children young. I missed out on a lot of opportunities. Is this making sense to you guys? Are you understanding what projection is? So Martin could be innocently celebrating somebody and say, wow, this is amazing. And my insecurity would make me be like, well, you shouldn't have married me then. And me projecting my stuff, when in reality, it's me that's saying, I shouldn't be in this situation. I might love you, but I need to actually go back and have a little look at myself. And this is what projection is. It's what's going on in your head. It's not what's going on in anybody else's head. Now, we make a lot of assumptions, which is why we end up projecting. So for me personally, I ask questions. Let me know in the chat box if you've ever been in a situation like this, or let me know if you have, if you are somebody that asks questions, because asking questions means you have to catch yourself and stop yourself in the midst of this panic or this insecurity kicking off. And it's very, very rare that people can do this. Hey, babe, can I please just have a conversation with you? What you just said there, what do you actually mean by it? People would rather spin out of control and go off on one and allow all of their insecurities to come up rather than actually having a discussion about it. So projection is very much a psychological defense mechanism. It's feelings and emotions that are not acceptable to you. So you push them onto somebody else. I'm feeling insecure, so I'm going to make you feel insecure. And, I've been in a relationship where this took place. I'm feeling insecure, so I am now going to project it on you. Some of you, I had a few people comment on my Instagram post, and some people there were sharing that their mum projects, their father projects, their ex-partner projects, lots of things like that. Now, when people do not like questions, it's because they have, they almost feel guilty. They almost feel like, oh God, she's caught me out or whatever. Whereas if you explain, because I always think the tone of the question really, really helps. And if you are, hey, Rich, how are you? I hope you're well. If you are connected and you are calm when you ask the question, then there is no reason for them to have a reaction. However, if they do have a reaction, you know damn well that it's coming from themselves. And this is the way this actually transpires. Is we project onto other people, and then their reactions project back on us, because everybody is so bloody insecure. All of this happens in our unconscious mind. It happens in the unconscious mind. This person hurt me, this person left me, so now you're going to left me. Abandonment wounds, anxiety wounds, like all of this stuff. You know, how many people do you know have projected on them relationship issues when they're not even in a relationship with the person? How many do you know? Like, this happens to me a lot, like a lot. I don't know why. I don't know why I bring that out in people, but people kind of treat me like I'm their girlfriend, you know. And I just have to say, hey, you do realize we're not in a relationship, don't you? Like, complete strangers, why are you not responding to my message or something? Like, this happens a lot to me. And it's about having boundaries at that point. It's about actually speaking up and just saying, like, hang on a minute, you know, you're projecting on me. Now, I get that people are projecting. This is what I do for a living, ladies and gents. I work with human behavior. So this is like my bread and butter, what I'm talking about here. However, not everybody knows that they're doing it, which is why I decided to speak about it today. Not everybody is willing to go and face their demons. Now, when I talk about the demons, I'm talking about their shadow element of themselves, where they've created all of this trauma, where they've created the circumstances and the situations which have basically led them down a path which makes them feel discomfort. So these unconscious thoughts that take place, I'm insecure, he doesn't love me, I've got fat, he doesn't want me anymore, I'm boring, all of these things. And then decisions on top of that, you know, the wrong decisions that you've made, so you're scared to make any more. All of this is a driver for how you behave going forwards. Now bring in what I like to call Rona. Or the COVID period, for those of you that haven't been watching me for the last few years. It's extremely interesting when we realize that we have been living in a matrix for such a long period of time that makes us face up to our discomfort and our shortcomings, or what I call trauma. It takes an extremely brave soul to look at themselves in the mirror and say, you know what, I was wrong. You know what? I didn't need to say that. I didn't need to project that. And if you guys haven't watched the video, Waking Up in 2020 with me and Paul, like, there was this download that everybody was doing back in 2020 and 2021 and 2022. You must do this, you must do that. That's projection. That's projection, ladies and gents. I was guilty of it. I'm going to put my hands up. I was absolutely guilty of it. Like, I did not want my parents to take this, because it wasn't tested, it wasn't proven, it hadn't been isolated, so many reasons. But I projected on them. And then at some point I was like, whoa. This is abuse. I'm creating abuse. I'm being abusive by projecting my views. Now, I'm allowed to talk about my views on my social media platforms, right? And that's not projection, because it's my platform and I can talk about it. However, if I'm in the room with my mum and my stepdad and I'm saying, don't do this, and this is how you should, and this might happen and that might happen, that is projection, ladies and gents, believe it or not. So we have been living in a pit of narcissism and projection since 2020. Now, I get most people are doing it from the goodness of their heart and they're really worried about their loved ones, exactly like I was, but it is still projection. Now, projection, and this is going to sting some of you, is emotional abuse. If you actually look it up, it is classed as emotional abuse, and there are consequences if you are seen to be projecting, certainly in the UK anyway. You can actually get into a lot of trouble with projecting these days. You know, obviously you need to prove the emotional abuse, but projection in a relationship is actually a thing that people can get into a lot of trouble for now. So many people would rather sit in a loveless relationship, a career that sucks their soul out of them, or in a mindset of lack around money, because otherwise it would mean rewriting their whole existence. It would mean them having to stop projecting their bullshit, having to stop projecting the fact that, oh, well, it's just the way he is, or, oh, well, that's just so and so. This is projection. Accepting it and allowing people to behave in a really poor way, you are called an enabler if that is the case. It takes a brave soul to say, I'm not happy. I'm not healthy. I'm not as abundant as I would choose to be. I need to sort this out. I've got trauma. My ex broke my heart and I can't move forward. Like, my kids need me, so I can't possibly move on. Like, there's so many scenarios in this. And this is you taking your trauma, holding on to it, and not being willing to look it in the eye and clear it, because you'd rather project your story out. Even, like I say, this is in the unconscious mind. You project your story out to people so that you can trauma bond. Oh, they're there. It's okay. Oh, yeah. Well, he's had a tough life. She's really, really had it rough. Yeah, absolutely, Ingrid. People do not know that that's what they are doing. But once you know you're doing it, and that's why I wanted to speak about it tonight. Because if we can bring a little bit of consciousness into this and people start going, wow, that's me projecting there. Wow, look at me go. People enable so many. A mother can be an enabler. A father can be an enabler. Oh, I'm going to enable you to sit in your sickness, and they're projecting their sickness so that they become more sick. Narcissists, great projectors, great projectors. Rather than owning the fact that they did something wrong, they're constantly looking for somebody to blame. That is called projection. When people live in the shadow, they panic. They completely panic because they don't actually realize that it is their shadow that's doing the talking. And when I'm talking about shadow, I'm talking about, our insecurities, our limiting beliefs, our traumas, the things that have gone on in our life. Now, the shadow is the bit that the ego believes protects the human. Does that make sense? So I'm going to cling on to this story because every man is going to hurt me. Every man going forward is going to hurt me. My dad cheated on my mum, so every man is a cheat. It's that protection level. Well, if you hold on to that limiting belief, then you're never going to allow yourself to be in love, which means you're never going to allow yourself to be hurt. Welcome to the world of projection. Projection is something that takes place based on the unconscious to avoid facing the shadow. Let me know if this is making sense, because I know I'm like rabbiting on quite quickly right now. I'm going to give you a really, really quite eye-opening example of somebody that projected on me. Now, as you guys know, I've had a number of things go on in regards to pregnancy. And someone once told me, wait for it, ladies and gents, you're going to be disgusted. Someone once told me, well, if you hadn't pissed and sniffed away your 20s and 30s, you'd have a child by now. Welcome to the world of projection. This is a clear statement of somebody who has regrets for not enjoying their 20s and 30s, for not making the money, having the career. They basically looked at me with the successful career that I had and all the other things that took place, and they were hating on me. They were projecting on me that they did not. Yeah, I know, it's disgusting, isn't it? That's what they thought. When, thank God, I was like, wow, this person's projecting on me. This is a really interesting dynamic. I'm going to ask some questions. And it erupted, of course, because I was triggering the beast. Now, I have no regrets of my life. Absolutely no regrets whatsoever. Believe it or not, before my 20s and 30s were sniffed and pissed away, I actually had miscarriage. So, you know, this isn't, I've had three in my 30s. I've had two in my 40s. That's it. You know, so I've had five in total, obviously, because of the most recent one. It's a clear statement of the person being jealous. It's a clear statement of the person pushing and projecting their views. And they might sit there and be like, no, 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 that's not the case. But this is their shadow. This is their insecurity coming up. I wish I'd been able to live a successful life. I wish I'd been able to have a good career. And I'm just like, you know what? Bring it on. But it's at those moments where you have a choice, ladies and gents, where you say, am I going to be an enabler and stay with this person or be with this person? Or am I going to just rise up and blind them? Always got to hate on your past because there's nothing in your present they can bite at. It shows ever-changing growth and forever shining. Exactly. You are absolutely bang on. Narcissists love knowing your past. Narcissists love knowing your past. I have got no interest in people's past unless they want to share it with me, other than my clients. My clients, I have to know their past, otherwise I can't help them break through. If I meet somebody, I don't want to know about their past unless they are willing to share it. Now, if somebody says to you, all of my exes are crazy, trust me, that's a massive red flag. You want to run for the hills. Let me know in the chat box if you agree with that. We must trust the fact that everything people are speaking is where they are at, how they feel. We have to believe that, ladies and gents. So I've had projection taking place on me in the last week, which is why I'm talking about it. You know, I want to raise the consciousness on it, because maybe if we can bring consciousness up very slightly on this topic, then maybe it's going to stop happening. I mean, what a gross thing to say to somebody. I wouldn't say that to a dog, you know, let alone another human being. It's disgusting. That is emotional abuse. People project because they want what you have in one way, shape, or form. People project their loved ones based on insecurities. People project regrets. And in my instance, it was regrets. Like I say, projection is emotional abuse. I need you to get this. I need you to grasp this. It is extremely dangerous. And we are allowing it to take place all around the world by, you shouldn't do this, you should do this, you shouldn't do that, with our choices of medical and all of that stuff. Now, if people want my opinions, I'm obviously going to share my opinions with them, but I will never say you shouldn't do that. My view, and I actually had somebody reach out to me a few days ago and asked me about something. And I just said, look, from my perspective, anybody can heal anything. And it was like, oh, come on, Luce, like, come on, don't be so silly. And I'm like, no, that's my belief. I'm not asking you to believe it. I'm just telling you my belief. You ask my perspective, I'm going to share it with you. I'm not now going to verbal diarrhea all over you how you've got it wrong and I've got it right, because that's not true. We must recognize these conversations need to take place because we're helping each other. But also, you set the standard for what you're allowing yourself to endure. Now, as I said earlier, projection is both positive and negatives. Predominantly, though, thank you, Samantha, I really appreciate that. Predominantly, though, we see it in negative energies. You know, we do, because, you know, if somebody projects love all over me, I'm going to take that. Don't know about you guys, but I'm going to be like, give. I'm going to love that moment of love, you know. But if somebody's going to project their trauma over me, their shit over me, unless it's a client, because that's what they pay to do, I'm not gonna hold space for that person. I am going to trigger the frig out of them. I nearly dropped the F-bomb, and I'm going to help them level up. I'm going to help them heal, because if that's their choice, then that's what I'm willing to do. So projection is a shield to the shadow. Okay, these people look to blame people always, rather than take responsibility for themselves. Oh, well, if she hadn't done that, I wouldn't have done that. Oh, she made that up. And what you've got to remember is, if somebody is projecting on you of the situations that have taken place in something you know nothing about, it is your utmost responsibility to either forget about it or go and ask the other person that might be involved. Because more often than not, the chosen scapegoat will run away. And then what happens is, interestingly enough, the problems never go away from the person that was blaming the scapegoat. Very interesting. It is a massive red flag. Massive red flag. They are telling you in not so many words that they are likely to project. If they say, all my exes are crazy, or gosh, you're not going to believe what happened to me. Like, they are basically telling you that they are going to project over you. Now, let's say, for example, somebody says to you, oh, my exes are crazy. Like, really? How can somebody be that unlucky that every single one of their exes are crazy? I have one, maybe two. I've dated a few. Just a couple. But the rest I have so much love in my heart for. Just because we didn't end up together doesn't mean that I don't have love in my heart for them. They taught me, they showed me. It was amazing. You know, so to say that everybody else is crazy and point that finger is utter nonsense. Now, as I've already touched on, people that stick around and allow these people to behave like this, I love the way that you guys are laughing on YouTube. People that, you know, allow people to do this, you are called an enabler. Anybody that is sticking around in a narcissistic relationship, you're an enabler. I get it. You've had it beaten out of you so badly that you don't know what to do with it. If you have a child that is a projector, you are an enabler. It's very, very, very important that we recognize these behaviors are not conducive to the world that we are looking to create. Yes, a level of compassion is needed for this, but at the same time, we are an enabler if we do not help that person elevate. And more often than not, these people will no way elevate because they are not prepared to actually look at themselves, because it's everybody else's fault. And the thing is the people that hang around these people go, God, all these people must be crazy. All these women must be scorned. I'm sorry, ladies and gents, it's just not the way that it works. There's always multiple sides to a story. There's always multiple different facets to it. Some people also tell you that friends and family are saying bad things about you so that you don't communicate with them. Yes, exactly. I totally agree with that comment. People are stuck in loops. Their loops serve them, ladies and gents. Literally, their loops absolutely serve them. Now, so I think it's quite obvious in a one-on-one situation. But some people do this in group settings. You may have witnessed this in recent years, the finger pointing. The collective movements do this very well. And I haven't known for a long time what my issue has been with the movements. And I've not been able to pinpoint it until today. Every movement is created to isolate and project beliefs and shame anyone that does not agree with them. It was like a light bulb came on today. And we wonder why we've been in such a spell for the last 50 plus years, in this cycle of destruction and war and famine and all of these horrible things, but much more so in the last 3 to 4 years. People in power project their agendas. Are you guys getting the epiphany, getting the light bulb? Fuck me. I know it literally came in today. I dropped the F-bomb. I was trying not to swear. I probably have sworn already, but not the F-bomb. It literally hit me today and I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe that I was involved in that. Like, I'm still going to have my very strong opinions, ladies and gents. I really will, and I always will do, but I'm not going to judge you for having yours too. I'm not going to come to blows with you. I'm not going to isolate you or project that you're dangerous for my health or anything. I'm going to love on you so much. And then at some point, we'll come together and we will all unite, because that's the only way that we can elevate as a community, as humanity as a whole. Everybody has been trauma bonding, isolating, pushing people out, and then pretending behind closed doors it's them that's the problem and not. It's a clear projection. And I really, really, really hope, yeah, of course you can give your opinions, Denise, right? At the end of the day, everybody has their own opinions. But if I come to you and say, Denise, this is the way that it is, this is the way that it has to be, like, and then I project all of my insecurities on you, like you could legitimately sit here and be like, you know what, like I've witnessed what's gone on over the last few years, and this is my belief. This is my belief system. But it's not, you need to take it on, you need to do as you're told, which is what it has been. I hope that makes sense, Denise. I really, really hope that makes sense. The irony of life, though, everything that we are unconscious about in ourselves is seen in others. I like to call it the Hall of Mirrors. Some of you would have heard just on the Self School little video yesterday. I always call it the Hall of Mirrors. When we recognize that we are projecting, we can start to work through it. So, I'm projecting right now. Listen, I'm not telling you need to take this on board. All I'm doing is sharing my opinions. If you're kind of like, this is the way that I see it, blah, 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 I'm getting quite passionate about it, which I do. I'd be like, well, hang on, I'm just sharing my beliefs with you. I don't want you to feel that you have to kind of take on board what I'm saying. You know, I'm just giving a different perspective. Remember, this is about communication. This is about a two-way. You can have a two-way conversation beautifully with people that have such different perspectives. You know, and you just sow the seeds. So, ladies and gents, our goal must be to look at ourselves. It must be to look at ourselves. We must recognize our shadows and work on them so we can unify without judgment. Literally without judgment. I'd love to hear what you've got to say on this. I'd love to feel what it is that you feel that's making you like in this way. I talk to people all the time about, you know, what made you like, you know, what made you like that? What made me close down my heart for so many years? It's because I was hurting and I was scared to get hurt again. Now I'm so open. I'm like, right, I trust the divine is going to place me. I trust that source is going to literally give me everything that I require. I trust. Now, sometimes it doesn't make sense. Sometimes it doesn't feel good, because otherwise that would be completely delusional. But I always trust. I always trust that whatever it's going to be, even though I feel like I'm losing something. Like, you guys know, when my last relationship ended, I felt like I was losing not only my marbles, but I felt like I was losing everything that I had worked so hard for. My goodness gracious me, I feel so free. I feel happier than I've ever felt in my life. So was it a loss? Oh God, it was painful. Losing the baby was painful. And I'm not just talking about physically, but I feel so happy. I have so many opportunities presenting itself. I feel so loved. Remember, ladies and gents, what's going on in your external world is being premised off of your internal world. We must remember that. There is a direct correlation. And this is why I can sit and share and be calm and peaceful and so full of love, while somebody else sharing the same story or the same journey could be in drama and destruction. It's a choice. It's very much a choice what we're doing here. Oh, it looks like I've got a little little halo above my head. It's the real angel, right? It's amazing. One last thing that I want to talk about, ladies and gents, because I think it's a really important piece of this, is just going back to the relationship bit. Don't have relationship problems with somebody that you're not having a relationship with. Like, I often speak to people and they're like, yeah, but, yeah, but, yeah, but. And I'm like, are you in a relationship with this person? And they're like, no. I'm like, okay, so why are you having a relationship problem when you're not in a relationship with them? Like, if you want to be in a relationship with them, like, have this conversation and address the issue. But the fact that you're not in a relationship with them, like, why are you allowing them to dictate? Like, if you don't want to be used, don't let somebody use you. If you want to be loved truly, fully, deeply, wholly, make sure that you remember that. It's very, very, very important, because remember, projection happens in many different ways and we enable many different ways. People in general are scared to look within, so instead project onto others. Exactly, Sharon, exactly. I would often say you should, all projecting. Yep, absolutely. I love the fact that you guys are just having so many epiphanies when you're doing this. Like, when you're watching this, it's absolutely amazing. I'm glad you're finding these conversations useful. Like, I know they're a bit heavy going, aren't they, for a Monday? They're a little bit heavy going, and, you know, I'm sure that there are many people out there that fear these conversations. But for me personally, I have to go there. I have to go there. I feel that we have an opportunity to grow here. Now, Ingrid has just put hurt people, hurt people. Now, I used to say that, but now I don't. Hurt people will only hurt people if those people allow them to project on them. Bing! Another light bulb, ladies and gents. It's only what you allow. You have to be brave. We are only responsible for ourselves. We have the opportunity to rise up. We have the opportunity to shine. We have the opportunity to have anything that we choose in our life. It's, what do you choose? So many light bulbs going off on YouTube, isn't there? I love it. I love it. You guys are amazing. Do remember, if you've liked this video, to hit the thumbs up button, and maybe this is a conversation that needs to be shared, ladies and gents. So if this has resonated with you, please go and share it in your groups. Please go and share it with your friends, with your loved ones. You know, maybe it might help them. Maybe it might help them recognize that they too are projecting. Now, none of us are saints. None of us are, you know, completely on top of all of our stuff. So you know, sometimes we project. It's about recognizing, and it's about doing something about it. So the next time you recognize that you are projecting, catch yourself, apologize for it. So important. And, you know, the final piece of the puzzle is having amazing boundaries. I let somebody project on me for a while, and as soon as I put a boundary in place, my God, was it rejected. And then I had to make a decision. You know, I'm so valuable. So are you. Just remember that. You deserve the best. You deserve to be treated right. You deserve to be loved wholly, fully. And what we must remember, ladies and gents, we have to get in alignment with who and what it is that we want. I hope you found this useful. I'm going to go off and do my last colon cleanse of the day, and then I will be back with my beautiful Conscious Conversation community at 7 p.m. UK time. It has been amazing being here with you. I love doing these videos. I just love it. I love the way that it just goes off, and I just like whatever. And if you guys have got any subjects that you would like me to speak about, please, 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 do let me know. Stephanie, it is my absolute pleasure. I absolutely love you, my girl. Sending you so much love across the pond, and hopefully I will see you at another Soul School. It was wonderful to witness your transformation at the last Soul School. Like, it really, 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 really was. I hope you're all well. I hope all of your families are good, and I will speak to you super soon. I love you guys too. Honestly, mwah. Love you guys to the moon and stars. Take care. Have the most beautiful evening.